Good afternoon, Michigan. It's going to be a hot one out there. Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma with your daily look at the forecast for this weekend. We got a little bit of heat obviously moving in starting tomorrow, and a couple severe thunderstorms moving in as well for your Saturday time frame. So we're going to start off by looking at the heat index temperatures for the next couple days here. If we look at our screen, this is the NBM model. This is the average temperatures across all a bunch of different models that we use here as meteorologists. Starting out today here, mid-afternoon, good chance at 80 degrees across most of southern Michigan, provided that some of that cloud cover out there can move away. Further north of 96, 69 there. Temperatures well into the upper 70s, so a nice cool one out there today. Humidity is starting to set in though, and then up there in the UP as well into the mid 70s. If you're along any of the lakeshore areas, temperatures are also going to be a little bit lower, probably closer to 70 out there, as well as into even the 60s, especially up there in the Keweenaw Peninsula. We roll it forward into the overnight hours. Obviously going to cool down just a little bit as that heat starts to fill in. Could be a comfortable night out there. Then we look into Saturday, our first day at heat index temperatures well into the 90s. This is going to be around 2, 3, and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see already temperatures nearing 100 in the heat index values out there. Again, heat index is a temperature that your body reacts to, so this temperature means a lot more to us as humans than the normal air temperature. This again is 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock that heat starts to fade away as we get into the sunset hours. Heat index values well into the high 80s, even around midnight tomorrow night, before we start to cool off as the sun goes down. Then we move into Sunday, and it really starts to pick it back up then, especially with the urban heat islands out there. This is going to be for the 5 o'clock time period on Sunday. We can see even in the UP, across much of the UP, temperatures, heat index temperatures well into the mid 100s, as well as down there in southeast Michigan, where we could see close to 105, especially around Detroit. Elsewhere into the mid to upper 90s. The only relief really is going to be up there near the Sioux, where heat index values are still going to be hot, but still probably closer to the upper 80s into the low 90s. And if you're along the lakeshore, obviously those temperatures are going to be a lot cooler with the temperatures. Excuse me, the lake water temperature is a lot cooler right now. So heat index values over the lake of in the mid 60s to 70s there. So very nice. And then more of the same as we head into next week. Monday, Tuesday, and perhaps on Wednesday as well for southern Michigan, where heat index values will be into the 90s once more. So that is your heat to look out for the next couple days here. Again, excessive heat advisories are in effect. And you can see that here. It's actually called extreme heat advisory, or extreme heat watches, mind you now. Anywhere where you see in red, so this is pretty much all of southwest Michigan and eastern Michigan from the thumb down to southeast Michigan. So Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids, all three major metropolitan areas in this excessive heat watch. Also up towards the Tri-Cities in the thumb, again, Bad Axe, Midland, Bay City, Saginaw, all in the excessive heat watch. And we'll likely see these alerts expand into the UP and even northern lower Michigan here as we move into the Sunday time frame. And a lot of these watches will be upgraded to heat advisories, or even, as you can see out here in the pink zone, excessive heat warnings. So those are your watches out there right now, only for southern Michigan, but they are expected to expand. Now we turn into the severe side of things. We have 3 days straight possibly of severe weather here in Michigan, starting with our day one outlook. This is straight from the Storm Prediction Center. They actually just released this here as of about 12:30 p.m. This is right when this video is being recorded right now. Marginal risk now all the way down pretty much for all of the lower peninsula. This is due to storms that are going to be firing late tonight. So this is actually not for today. This is for the overnight period, because the SPC's forecasts go through 8 a.m. So keep that in mind as you go to bed tonight. Severe thunderstorms are possible when you go to bed. So you do want to keep that in mind when you're going to bed tonight. Have a way to receive warning, especially if you have like a weather radio. That's going to be the best option. Weather apps. And then obviously, if you can find a way to get notified for when we go live, that would be awesome. Again, you can subscribe here on YouTube and follow our X account for automated warnings. You can see the heaviest of the thunderstorms are going to be off to the west, though, tonight, where you can see the slight risk and enhanced risk here across much of the UP, and then over there into Minnesota. Again, that is the potential for some very, very strong winds here. If I go back out here real quick. back it up here real quick to our damaging wind risk. There you go. There is your damaging wind risk. Primarily, there's a hatch zone right there across portions of the western UP, extreme western UP in the Porcupine Mountains, but it's going to primarily be over there in Minnesota. So that is going to be the primary focus tonight. There's also a significant risk for a large hail within this line. So that is, again, overnight tonight, likely starting after around 2 a.m. So keep that in mind for the UP, and then moving into the lower peninsula as we move into the morning hours tomorrow. And this is your severe weather outlook for tomorrow here. Slight risk across much of northern lower, and a marginal risk all the way down into southern lower. For once, southwest Michigan is not getting severe storms tomorrow as it stands. So keep that in mind. If you're in southwest Michigan tomorrow, you should be relatively clear. And then on Sunday, there's also, on Sunday, there's a marginal risk across western UP as another batch of severe thunderstorms are possible to move in from the southwest through Minnesota and then impact portions of the western UP late Sunday night into Monday morning. So we'll focus more on Sunday as we get through tomorrow's action. But overall, 3 straight days, I guess you should say more like 2, of severe weather possible. What that looks like on radar here, we'll go ahead and loop it through. So this is the latest HRRR run from this morning. You can see today showers and thunderstorms popping up across the state. Not expected to be severe, but I would not be surprised if we get another 1-inch hailstone like we did yesterday, prompting maybe 1 severe thunderstorm warning, perhaps later this evening around 5 o'clock. Then as we move into the overnight hours, you can see that line really starts to blossom across northern Minnesota, and it really starts to take shape, especially with in intensity there, as all those purples and whites would be very, very heavy rain to even some large hail. And that kind of congeals into 2 different lines here across the UP, and this is going to be around 3 to 4 a.m. Eastern time. You can also see a lot of cells popping up ahead of this line across pretty much the entirety of the lower peninsula, pretty much east of US 131. And as we move into the 6 o'clock time frame, that really starts to congeal into a better looking line across northern and central Michigan. And we also still have those Boeing segments moving across the UP, so it's kind of like a nice backwards upside down L shape here. You have line 1 and line 2, so that first line there you can see across the lower peninsula would be that marginal risk that we saw on the map for technically today, but it would be for tomorrow morning. And then as we move into the noon hours tomorrow, we have this line of damaging winds rolling across the UP, moving into northern Michigan. It's tough to tell how far down south you can get. We're also dealing with a lot of capping concerns, which for those who don't know, capping is basically like a lid on the atmosphere that prevents strong updrafts from forming and getting more severe weather. So that we need that cap to hold in place if you don't want severe weather. Tomorrow you can also see perhaps some isolated cells popping up in the evening. And as we move actually through the evening, that heat again builds. And so that is going to just increase the instability tenfold. The conditions out there tomorrow in the afternoon and evening are very, very juiced for all hazards. However, with that capping inversion and kind of a lack of source of lift, again, there's not really much of a front in the area. It's kind of just riding the ridge. It's going to be hard to pop up those isolated cells. So keep that in mind as we move into the evening hours tomorrow. And then as we move out, those storms start to fizzle out as we get into the overnight hours. So this is going to be around 8 o'clock. You can see it's all pretty much moving off into Ontario. The NAM has kind of a similar solution here. Storms fire maybe a little bit further south. We'll see. I believe it's probably going to form further east if I had to guess. The NAM has not been too accurate lately, but you can see concerns with the capping inversion are much greater on the NAM run. As you can see, it really starts to take over in the afternoon, and those storms fizzle out very, very quick. So the NAM almost appears like it's only going to be an UP event overnight tonight, and then nothing for the morning and afternoon hours tomorrow. So again, 2 different models showing 2 different things, what could happen and what might not happen. As you can see, moving into late Sunday, there is your line of storms starting to fire off in South Dakota and Minnesota. Those eventually work towards the UP overnight into Monday. So that is the rundown for severe weather. Again, this is your severe risk for overnight, or this is for tomorrow. Slight risk across much of northern Michigan and the UP. Stick around. We will have another update for you with a severe weather briefing coming later this afternoon here at Michigan Storm Chasers. So make sure to tune in. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or X for all of our live stream coverage here at MSC. Again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon, and we'll probably see you later here on our channel, Michigan Storm Chasers. Have a good one, everyone.